Well, let's talk a little bit about EC2. So EC2, when we go to launch an instance, there are a lot of options here. And what I really want to dig into is the instance type this time. So we have here instance type. And there are tons of options here. So many that, yeah, can't go over them all. So I'll link to some pages that will help. But the main thing is understanding that these instances have differences. So some of them are general type computing, and they have a certain number of CPUs and memory. Okay. Others of them have a lot more CPUs and memory. Some of them are set up for large amounts of network traffic. Others not so much. Some of them have GPU capabilities, lots of the GPU versus CPU. So trying to understand what you need, and that's why there's just so many of these, and you can choose what you want. I mean, it's amazing how many different ones there are. So let's look at this a little bit. So they have under here, Amazon, EC2 instance types, they have the different options you can look here. So general purpose, these are the, I think of the T2s and stuff, but general purpose is, there's a lot. And even storage type here, EBS only, Elastic Block Store. So this goes away when things reboot versus the SSD. Compute optimized, so ones that are more for CPU. Memory optimized. Accelerated computing, storage optimized. High performance computing. And then there's different features. So this is not even all of them, because we also have the RDS and stuff. So I really like this page, instances.vantage.sh. It helps you understand, just looking at it, there is a cost difference per region. It doesn't differ greatly from what I've seen, but it does differ some, especially in the smaller regions. So let's just look at one. So let's look at the T2. Yeah, this is good enough. We'll just look at these. So if you look here, my instance, well, it's like a 2.2 micro. So Elastic Block Store, low to moderate. It's a little over a penny an hour on demand. Or if you reserve it, it's a little less than a penny an hour. It's about not quite half. Or you can do a spot instance. So a spot instance is when you only get to use it if no one else wants to. You're paying a really low price, but they reserve the right to yank it from you. So spot instances are great. If it's fine for it to go away, they notify you and then it goes away. Windows, here's the Windows cost for the on-demand and the Windows reserved. So this is pretty cool. By the way, it says hourly here, but realize they're billed by the second. So it's just divided by the number of seconds in the hour. And this is for a 1 gig memory with one virtual CPU. Let's look at here's 32 gigs of memory, 8 CPUs. So if you look at the cost difference, it's 37 cents an hour. If it's on demand. If it's reserved, it's 23 cents an hour. So that's the price difference. And then, of course, the spot instance, 11 cents an hour. So you can see that there's a lot of different options here. But there's RDS for databases. There's Elasticache instances. There's Redshift instances. And there's OpenSearch instances. So there's more than just EC2. And EC2, there's a lot of different things you can do. By the way, with the reserved, Right now it's 1 year upfront, but let's just change this. So we have the T2. What if we change it to 3 years full upfront? So instead of, so this we just pay for all of it right up front. So the T2 Micro, so it's 11 cents an hour. It now goes down to half a cent to reserve it, versus if you reserve it all for the year full upfront. So there is a cost difference. So you can see you can save money if you're willing to pay for it up front. But it depends. I mean, a lot of people are moving to these to get away from the bigger bills up front. One of the things I want to point out, by the way, because when you start to look at this, some people will say, hey, a 32 gig memory, 8 virtual CPUs, if I look at that and I add it up for the year, that can really add up. But realize it's not just buying the hardware, it's also the power to power it. It's the patching of it, it's the maintaining of it, it's cooling it. So there's a lot of different things that are rolled into this price. So if you're just comparing this to, hey, if I bought something off the shelf, how long would it take? Realize there's some other costs you need to roll into that to compare it, for that matter, the data center you put it in, the cost of that, to compare it with what you're paying here. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. I just want to make sure that we covered the Elastic Compute Cloud and the different prices, the cost options, and trying to understand why there are so many. I like to try and stay with what I need unless it doesn't work, and then I'll branch out. But I stay in the T2 and the T3 tier a lot, just because it meets most of my needs. But then I'm not doing anything too crazy right now. I might need to jump into some of the GPU ones. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one.